Now on the other side of the bridge, off to the left at the end of our parking lot, you'll see a stone monument. That was put in place in 1949 to commemorate the original Georgetown Lift and High Bridge. If you follow that bike trail next to the monument under the bridge to the right side, you'll see what looks like it used to be an old road. This was US 6, the predecessor to I-70. So before the interstate existed, this was the only way between Georgetown and Silver Plume. Now the cars we're riding into from two different eras of railroading history. The back yellow and red cars were built in the early 1900s for the Denver and Rio Grande Railroad in southwest Colorado. They were all freight cars, be it flat cars, coal cars, box cars, refrigerator cars, what kind of passenger cars. We rebuilt all these in our Silver Plume shop for your enjoyment. Now the green car in the front of the train, she and her sisters were built in the early 1970s in good old Canada for the White Pass and Yukon Railroad in Skagway, Alaska. Today, four of these ride on our railroad as our first-class parlor cars, and I also use them on my dinner trains. So if you like beer, brats, wine, cheese, are over 21, obviously, and my jokes didn't stink too much, feel free to come back and see me. Those are Saturday nights at 6 o'clock. I'd love to have you aboard. And last but not least, our diesel-electric locomotive number 1203 was built in 1949 for the U.S. Gypsum Company in Placer City, California. She is one of a kind, as after the company built her, the Porter Locomotive Works went bankrupt and built no more locomotives. Aww.
Oh my god.
Now coming up in a few moments, we'll be crossing the old wagon road that goes up to the Lebanon Silver Mine. It's not used much these days, really only by our mine tour guides and those little red minivans. What's important about this crossing though, is just before we cross it, our engineer Garrett will blow a specific whistle signal. It'll be one long blast of the whistle, another long blast, a short blast, and a final long blast. It's the standard U.S. grade crossing signal that a train blows every time it crosses a public road. So if you're at a railroad crossing and you hear the signal, stop, look, and listen, let that train go by. They do have the right of way and they're much, much bigger than you. Now there's an interesting twist in history about this signal. In Morse code, it's the letter Q. Now what does Q have to do with the railroad? I'll let you think about that as our engineer Garrett blows the signal as we cross the wagon road. Now, did anybody figure out what Q has to do with the railroad? Let me tell you, it has absolutely nothing to do with the railroad. But, back in the days of jolly old England, when the Queen's ship was coming into the harbor, the ship's captain would blow this signal, long, long, short, long, to indicate that the Queen was on board that ship, and that ship had the right of way. Now, we're not a ship, and I don't think we have a Queen on board today, but we still have the right of way, so we blow this signal at every railroad crossing. Now at this point, come a little over a mile as the crow flies from Silver Plume Depot, but we've used over 3 miles of track to get here. When we arrive at Devil's Gate Station, we will have dropped over 450 feet in elevation, and we're almost to that station. So for everybody that boarded at Devil's Gate, this is your last stop on our train ride today. I want to thank you for riding with us on behalf of History Colorado and the Georgetown Loop. I hope you enjoyed your train ride, your mine tour, our bad jokes. Now, before you depart, look around, make sure you have all your personal belongings with you, as well as all members of your group, especially small children. Small children left behind. Small children left behind will be used as powder monkeys in the mine. Now, for those of you that boarded at Silver Plume, this is the halfway point of your train ride. We'll be here about 10 minutes, enough time to get the engine on the other side of the train and load new passengers. At that time, you're welcome to cross the bridge over to the restrooms and gift shop. Spend some time there. But if you do so, keep an ear out for the verbal "all aboard." That means that the train's leaving and you need to get back on board. I would hate for you to miss your train ride, folks. It's a very long uphill walk back to Silver Plume. Now, if you want to save your seat that you're sitting in right now, I would leave somebody behind to watch that seat, as I'll be loading about half a train's worth of passengers. And if you have any personal belongings, I would suggest taking them with you so they don't disappear while you're gone. When the train comes to a complete stop, as indicated by a single whistle from the engineer, you may make your way to the car that you boarded on earlier and depart from there. Thank you again for riding, folks. Welcome to Devil's Gate, elevation 8,615 feet. Have a wonderful day and safe travels.